everybody. Get started with our annual meeting. Welcome to the Arc of Whatcom County. I do want people just to know that access is love. And however it feels comfortable for you to be able to be here and participate. If you need to pace around, if you need to go outside for a bit, however for you to be able to be here and be part of this. There's a restroom here and there's another one up the stairs. We have gluten-free pizza and some other pizzas, fruits and veggies and lemonade. And most of all, a big warm welcome to all of you. Really glad to see you all. So I think we can jump to the next one, just to show a little about, don't worry about, people know how to do Zoom. There's a few people who've zoomed in.
Yeah.
But I do want to also do a land acknowledgement. We are on the ancestral home of the Lakhtamish, the Lummi tribe, Lummi Nation, and the Nooksack tribe. And they and other tribes like the Semiahmoo, the Brskagit have lived here since time immemorial, stewarding these lands and waters and showing us with their leadership how to care for one another and for this beautiful place we share. And I also want to acknowledge the work of hands around the world that has helped to build the internet and the systems that we're using to connect virtually as well. Some of that work is done by mothers and fathers and even children. And so I'm grateful for the labor that people have put into bringing us together and connecting us here today. Oh, and I'm Beverly Porter. And I'm joined by Missy Bartell, and we have just an outline of our evening together. But it's a chance for us to connect, hear what's happened at the ARC in the last year, elect board members for their terms, and then talk about the programs and services that you're needing, that you see for yourself, for your friends and neighbor and loved ones, what the ARC can be doing in Whatcom County to be more supportive and continue that support. And then we have a chance to talk some about the gardens as well. And so Sarah Godwin is here with some professional and and friend support, just to talk about how we move forward in continuing to make this community center one that welcomes and includes everyone. So our president, we don't need to worry about the mission. Yeah, I'm gonna hand it off to Missy Bartell to
Board start,
yeah.
officially starting our meeting for annual membership meeting. I'm Missy Bartell, board president. I've had a child with some special needs, some learning disabilities. I've accessed services at the ARC, not just being on the board. I'm also a speech pathologist in town, so I provide a lot of services to families and funnel everybody to the ARC. So I'm joined on my left here by our vice president, Ken Larson.
Yeah, I'm kind of like another year. Welcome everybody, glad to be here.
Right, glad to have you, Ken.
And beside him is his lovely wife, Susan, who just put a piece of pizza in her mouth, so we'll let her finish chewing. We also have, behind me, we have Dale. Whipple.
I'm my board director, so I'm here to get more new members involved with the ARC.
We also have Margaret John on our board. She's handing out our pizza. Susan, did you want to say anything? Susan is a past president of the board. I put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
I can say that I'm a volunteer and I do a lot of things. Also, I wear different hats, but I'm out there meeting different people and everything. I'm always out there doing something and telling people what I want and what I want to do and stuff. And it's nice to go out and to meet different people. And I go traveling. I don't stay in one spot. I travel all different around with so many different places and stuff. but it's fun.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fun, you learn a lot. If somebody say that.
And then online, we have,
I'm Ellie Pozell, board member.
Ellie.
Ellie Cosell. She was very quiet, but she's,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on a tablet, so I'm very limited.
No worries.
It's
we
Thank
got
you,
you.
Ellie.
Did we wanna go around and do everybody or a smaller group?
Sure, we could do
or-
that, yeah. So, so I'm Beverly Porter, Executive Director and a parent of a 32-year-old who has a developmental disability.
And I'm Hillary, I'm the office manager and also a parent.
I'm Jensen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you at in life? Are you in school and doing?
I graduated CT 3 years ago, and I'm just kind of, I'm doing just looking for a job and doing soccer.
Oh, nice. Are you on one of those winning teams that's going to state?
Yes.
Oh! I'm so excited.
I said there's like 3 or 4 teams that are going, right?
Yeah. All right, moving back, so we maybe start with Aiden.
I'm Aiden, I'm new here, I would love to get more involved.
All right,
Thanks, Aiden.
then we have Mark.
I'm Mark Lindenbaum. I'm married to Margaret, board member and we come to events for the Army for a long time.
Gary, did you do the math one?
Yeah.
Jump, skip, go, come back.
No,
Okay.
I'm Terry Eplin, and I am an inclusion advocate. I've been working officially for 23 years.
Today,
Today,
23 years.
May 28th, 2002, Terry was hired
Huh?
while she was a CT student.
All right. All right, and then back row, we have Bradford.
Bradford, Gerber, and friend of Sarah's, and I've been helping out, some planning with the garden, we'll talk about later.
Okay. I'm Emma, I'm from London. I'm my cousin, that's my father. That's me. Very good.
I'm Sarah Godwin. I'm a sibling of an individual with developmental disabilities. I've been a foster mom, child with special needs. And I was on the board and I hope to be again soon, just not yet.
And then.
Dick.
Dick.
My name is Dick Godwin. I'm Sarah's uncle, Emma's father. And I was kind of from here from the beginning with Sarah and Maureen and Tom. Of course, I live in Pisco, Florida, but now also live in Bellingham, so they are to become more of a part rather than the initial part.
Right.
And I was here 18 years ago, so kind of helping Tom and Maureen a great deal when they first kind of put everything together. So I was here at that time, but yeah, they few little contributions since, but not much. I maybe we'll do more now. I'll be here 6 months out of every year.
All right. Well, watch out, because you may well get added to a list.
Oh, don't worry, he'll show up here with shovels. tractor,
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. Was there anybody else online?
Nope, it's just Ellie today.
Okay,
Hey.
all right. And moving on. We do need to make a motion, for membership approval to have this membership meeting count as a business meeting for the board also. So if somebody would like to make a motion,
I shall move.
all right, Ken makes a motion
I
that
second it.
and Dale seconds, and
Dale.
everybody, because this is the membership meeting, everybody can vote who's here. His membership is now free, so everybody's who's in the room, just by default, you can be a member. So, all right, so all in favor of this meeting, the board meeting as well, say aye.
Hi.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. That makes our business a little bit easier. And
And then we do have minutes from last year's meeting that are kind of long, but that really, what it covered was the things that happened at last year's meeting of voting for some, for 3 directors. And then the big piece was the revision of our bylaws. And so this meeting is a lot less bureaucratic and a little
Right.
more connecting and fun and pizza.
right,
Do you know Sam Hogan?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Fortunately, she couldn't be here
Yeah.
today, but we love having her on our board.
Yeah.
And she was my dog coach.
That's great.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah,
Okay,
more good people in this town.
Sam's great.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's great.
all right, so if, as everybody's skimming that, if we see nothing that needs to be corrected. We could, I would have somebody can make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from May 2024 as presented.
I shall move.
Ken makes a motion, that's
Second, it.
Gail seconds, I love that. All in favor? Any opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously. You guys are efficient lot, I like that. All right. Moving on to our annual report. I'm gonna let Beverly,
Oh, okay.
am I taking that over?
No, that's okay. I can. Yeah, so we've been able to take, some of the data that we collect throughout the year and try to put that together in some meaningful ways to share out to the community. So really celebrating, our achievements and the success, and we are still here. And staff are still here feeling strong about our mission as much as the board is as well. So just had a quick letter just to let people know that really we want to continue to do things that honor choice and self-determination for folks. They're not coming in and having our own benevolent agenda, but listening to what the community wants and what individuals want. And in doing that and supporting families and individuals with developmental disabilities, we've had, last year, there were 28 parent support meetings that we held. The contract requires we have 10. We had 28. We had parents who showed up for some of those meetings, a total of 279 different families who came to those. We had our Buddy Fest last year out in Linden, which was great. There were 169 community members who came to that. And through the course of last year, with phone calls and emails, there were 646 different individuals. They might have asked multiple questions over time, but 646 unique individuals who came to us asking for assistance with navigating complex systems, managing and learning about special education or insurance denials or social security. So I'm really pleased that we're still here 89 years later, as families have made this and parents have worked together and folks with developmental disabilities have continued to keep us accountable to the work that we do. So we have copies of this in the back, and a few more things what pulled together in terms of numbers was that let's see, out of some of the families too, 565 of some of individuals who do make requests for other information within some of those trainings were all Spanish speaking. And so our Spanish speaking program is very, very strong. We're unique in the state of Washington that we're the only ARC or parent to parent that has a Spanish speaking support group. It takes a long time to build trust, and families don't always approach our mental health and self-care and connecting with other families in the same way, socially and culturally. So this is a really unique thing that we have so much connection with Spanish speaking families. And we have a dad support group as well that's been growing stronger and stronger, and they're demanding more meetings more often. So financially, we spent less money than we made. So as you can see from the chart, most of our income that comes in is through some programs, some basically grants that we have with the county health department, with the state ARC, and with the Developmental Disability Administration. And so that's a bulk of our income, along with rental income from the building on Redwood, that the Building Performance Center is with the Opportunity Council. And then in terms of costs, 79% of our expenses went to programs and services. That's staff time and materials and resources for them. So 300,000 on that. And then we spent other dollars for facilities. This is the Young Goblin Community Center as well as Alderwood and Redwood. And only 24,000 on administration. So really trying to make sure that the dollars are being spent on the services and on the connection with families to support them. And our balance sheet is the next page, and we're doing well. We're fiscally a strong agency. We have over $600,000 in the bank. We are working with WECU to have a high yield savings and continue to be very conservative about how we spend those dollars and make sure that they're not, we're not just dilly-dallying around and making weird decisions, but really being very conscientious of how those dollars are spent and that the final benefit is for the community. So yeah, we have a strong base. We have about $113,000 in our Michelle Hill Endowment Fund at the Heritage Bank. And so those dollars are restricted, but the proceeds from them, any interest from them, is part of what can be used with continuing to maintain and preserve the community center. And then we've had a lot of sponsors for different events. Our calendars, our Smiles to Life calendar, the Buddy Fest we had, and so this just becomes a document that if you want to take with you and share out with your neighbors or other folks to let them know what the ARC has been doing in the community, you're really welcome to do that too. And yeah, you've met the board. Staff wise, we're not all here because staff are working too. Some folks are out in the community doing things tonight. So it's just Hillary and I that you're getting today. But Rhonda and Carlene and Barbara, Laura, Melissa, Marta, Alina, Nick, Sterling, and Frank are all helping with all those services that go into the programs that we have and the facility that welcomes all. And the last person I didn't mention is Terry Hansen. You've heard a little bit about Terry. So I think that might be the next part. And oh, we did that. Oh, okay.
There we go.
So yeah, so the board directors are voted on by the membership. All the directors have to be voted on. And so you vote for somebody, they usually have a 2-year term. And so you can see here, we've got Dale and Ellie and Melanie and Missy and Margaret John, who have all just been completing their second of 3 2-year terms that they can have. Susan Jewell has just wanted to have a 1-year term and continue as treasurer and supporting us. And that's still within the bylaws to be able to do that. And so this is how that ballot's been put together. I would ask Margaret and the nominating committee, if you just want to propose, we vote for the entire slate of directors as is, or if you want to divide them out.
I would suggest that we vote for it as is,
The
but if there's
full
any
slate.
question, we can certainly.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, you can do that. That's great. Yeah.
So I'm proposing this as the chair of the nominating committee. I'm proposing this slate of officers for the term, except for Susan, the 2-year term, and for Susan, the 1-year term. Very happy to do so. Okay. That's here. Just think of it, I'm not sure.
Jump on my ballot.
Like to vote as many times for directors as you want.
Don't see that folded in half and no pressure. Let me finish with this and I'll come back, okay?
So you can put a check to vote for everybody, or you can mark each box if you wanted.
Right.
So. That's where they're. Thank you. What I'm gonna do is just go. You got a pen? No pen? Now. 7. Okay, maybe nice that. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. You're gonna vote here, right? Today in America.
I won't. Got like 80 pictures of
Oh, awesome. Here's a bunch of. They don't do that, but it is. You're ready? Yeah. He's showing that. Yeah, oh, there you go. The rock.
Pass that off to, oh, one more. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so one of the unique things about our bylaws and about our directors is there are term limits. So after 3 2-year terms, directors have to go off the board. And so it's kind of nice to know that we've got that system. I know I met somebody recently who's been on another board of directors for 20-something years. And it just feels awkward. It's nice to have this churn and freshness and new ideas and all of that. So as you know about our programs, a lot of that information was listed in the annual report. But that parent coalition of really working with families as they first get a diagnosis of a child, parent to parent, setting up helping parent matches for families with a new diagnosis, our self-advocacy group, really developing those, having some opportunities to develop those self-advocacy skills too, that sometimes by the time we're in high school and we've been given a lot of direction from teachers and parents, that it's nice to have some opportunities to talk about our preferences, even if they're related to pizza and build those skills. Our Down syndrome outreach program has also been going strong with the Buddy Fest, and they've been developing some new opportunities this year rather than having a big spring fling event and then the Buddy Fest. They've been popping in some smaller events that are less work to put together and less staff time and more about connecting. So that's been really great. And then we're still involved with the health department and other agencies with Whatcom Taking Action, that's just specifically about children with special health care needs, some of whom may not have a developmental disability, but the supports and the services that they're accessing are the same systems. And so we continue to work with the health department on that. So staff wise, you heard about Terry. It was today, May 28th, 2002. Terry was in the very first era of community transitions through Bellingham School District and was doing an internship at the ARC. And brilliantly, Susan Joel said, let's hire you. So we can click through a little. Terry's been able to use some assistive technology and support in the office. This is a pretty amazing day. This was our annual meeting in 2005. And this is when Terry's mom and some other people in the Boutwell family worked with the Godwins to purchase this building and develop the Dan Godwin Community Center. Terry's mom grew up here in this building. And so there's a legacy of families in that way as well. They're a pretty special thing. Terry's been a part of supporting other staff as well through the years and continuing to do advocacy, teaching about person-centered planning and really helping the community and folks who don't know, who have maybe a benevolent idea of how to help somebody. Terry being able to say, this is how somebody should be supported and can be supported. So she's done that all across Whatcom County. Done it with people like Ken and Susan, who've led the way in so many ways with people first and with sales, self-advocates and leadership. So we have that leadership too. Here's Terry at a staff meeting presenting some information as well. And again, I think at one of our legislative coffees, speaking with our elected representatives about issues that matter for us. Terry's gone to Olympia many times to speak to legislators and to be able to learn more about what's happening in the legislature. So over time, worked with a variety of different coordinators here, teaching them as well and helping them along in their learning. And even going on some really cold days down to Olympia and managing that. This is where there's some CT teachers there with Terry, but this is when she was getting a longevity award through Colson Supported Employment, because people in the community recognize that Terry is a leader as an inclusion advocate, and how she's continuing to just show us the way and bring others along. She doesn't always do it at work too. So this, you might not be able to say it, says, please stay on this path. But this is kind of a rough field. She's down seeing the tulips, and these things that Terry understands about inclusion and access are part of her life, not just her job. So she's helped to show us the way about a lot of things. This is Terry doing some marketing with some Bellingham legislation that happened around access and transportation several years ago. And so Terry was helping with that project moving forward on the ballot. So in her personal life too. And then a certificate of appreciation. She's continued to work with Kim Brown, the ADA coordinator with the city of Bellingham. And there's been a lot of information that Terry's been able to come back to say, this sidewalk isn't safe. This intersection has these difficulties, and continue to provide some insight and ideas about things can be improved, as well as just making it a positive experience for other folks who participate on the committee too. Terry has fun sometimes too. When COVID hit, Terry and I started meeting at least weekly. And so we were 6 feet apart and having some sparkling cider on her birthday. When she's not working so hard, she knows how to have fun. And you can see from some of these pictures, she's been kayaking. She's been up to Mount Baker. She's been going on. There was one day Terry went out to the Stimson Reserve and went off the trail into the mud, just trying to explore the world and have fun. Terry loves animals. She has a beautiful cat named Precious who adores Terry, and I think is great that she's got you to love her. Terry's fun and enjoying the critters and has a long history of having and loving animals and caring for them and having service animals. She's taught us as staff at the ARC about how to respond to or not respond to service animals as well. She is an aunt, she's a daughter and a friend and a cousin and an amazing human to be able to work with. And I just really wanted to be able to thank you for continuing to work with us and show us with all your wisdom, but also with humor. It's very much appreciated, and I'm so glad to be able to work with you. Terry is our most senior staff person here. And I don't remember what I did after that. That was the fun stuff. Yeah. But there are things that we want to do that are part of our annual meeting too, and that's recognition of all the work that this takes. It takes members, it takes directors. All of those directors are volunteers. And so they've volunteered at the Buddy Fest, they've volunteered maybe with the egg hunt, come into the office to help with publications. We have volunteers from Community Transitions who come in and help with some of our publications as well. So it is the work of hands that is helping us provide all these services and continue to connect with people throughout the county. So one of the other things that we like to do with each of our workshops that we do, but also with the membership meeting, is to find out where the needs are, what the needs are. And some of them may be repeated, and that's okay. We're not always ready to tackle everything at just the right moment. So we have a membership input form, or actually we have these charts back here on the wall. We try to do a variety of different support meetings and sometimes have different topics like, let's say we want to talk about puberty and sexuality and relationships with our kids, or we're more thinking about our adult siblings who want to be able to have some support. So we've got little dots so you can come around and vote for things. And if there's something that's not on here and you think, oh, we need this, we need a support meeting about assistive technology. Well, maybe it's on that, but it might be under our workshop ideas too. So if you have additions to this, if there's things that you are really seeing a need for yourself or in your community, you can put them up here and add to that by voting with the dots. And the thing I always carry about that to you is if nobody else votes for what you need and what you want, come talk to me. Because it's not the only way to get your needs met, is through a group thing or one particular program event. But also by connecting with me and other staff to be able to say, hey, I really wanted to do this topic and no one else voted for it. So I want you to know that we want to meet your needs, even if yours is unique. So there's these little dots around, and you're welcome to vote for the topics. We want to know, again, what you're seeing in the community, what you're feeling for yourself. And we continue to we repeat some of our workshop ideas in some of those groups because those things continue for folks. And so you might see some repetition over the years, and that's because, man, we've got a whole bunch of families who have 17-year-olds who are about to, hit 18 and hit their majority, and they're worried about guardianship. Or we've got, families hitting another phase of their life together who are trying to figure out how to work on these things. So, and one of the networking ideas is about housing. There's been some more work across the state about connecting roommates and a potential roommate pool. So that's one of those ideas we wanted to bring together folks who are looking to find a roommate for their son or daughter in the community and be able to match up some families. So I think is that everything?
So in the next couple days, you'll receive an email with an evaluation form, as well as some extra links that we shared today.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
Starting
yes,
time.
now, yes, great. So Sarah has been hanging around this place for many a year, and you might have seen her in that picture earlier when we were talking about Terry and her mom's family. We've had ideas for this side yard and continuing to build a place that is welcoming and inclusive for all. And so Sarah's got some fresh ideas and energy about this, and I really appreciate it. So thanks.
Thank you. Yes, so as Beverly said, this was a part of the vision when the space was first pulled together. My uncle remembers those days. I remember those days. Some of you probably remember those days when this building transformed. And like Beverly said, it's about inclusion, it's about access. It's also about continuing legacies. And so this is actually from that first, I think, let's see, 2005, 6 is when this building was worked on. So this was a part.
This one's from 2010.
Oh, this one, okay.
2010, 2011. So yeah, you worked on ideas of your mom's and added those in to a previous plan.
Okay. Yes, so there's been a few variations of ideas, and my parents contributed to ideas, visions. Michelle Hill, that's a huge contributor to this vision. And I recently met Bradford here, who's a wonderful person and just happens to be a fabulous project management organizer of he probably has a better way of explaining it, but in talking with him, starting to understand what steps can we and do we need to take to start bringing this into fruition. And of course, things have changed a lot since 2010. Prices, materials, ADA, access requirements. So that's something that we're delving into to learn about, to see what's possible of these original visions, but also hearing from the membership what you might enjoy. So the biggest concept right now is to turn the side here into a sort of memorial garden where there's access throughout it. There's some sensory experiences, whether that's plants or water features. So we're just starting with all of this, and I'm gonna let Bradford explain some of the things that we're looking at currently and next steps. But as we go, I very much want to hear any input about what you would hope to see. What would you enjoy here? I'm gonna let Bradford take it away.
Thanks for the intro, and yeah, Bradford, it's really good to meet everybody, and I'm really honored and happy to be connected to this project. There was an awesome serendipitous meeting to meet Sarah and to get connected with this. I've done community development work for about 10 years with different nonprofits in Bellingham and in Seattle and around the region, so really excited. We've been doing a lot of due diligence, just like that early stage, but just kind of filling out the map of what are the resources and what are the challenges and what are the hopes and visions, and we've been getting a lot of information. So a lot of what we're doing right now is talking about design and then talking about sort of like the ethic of the development project, about how to use community resources and volunteers and help get people's hands dirty who want to get involved in doing the work and not break the bank, how to make sure that we're working on a budget and being effective and responsible with the funds that we have for the project. Some of the design things that we've talked about obviously center around accessibility of the space. There are some hills that are on there, so we're thinking a lot about how to make sure that this design actually matches with what's out in that space. But some ideas for, as Sarah mentioned, spaces for people to navigate around. There are some amazing trees that are out there, so preserving trees. Some flat spaces where there's like some congregating area and gathering space, and as Sarah mentioned, some features, whether it's water features, whether it's like sensory features to engage with. It's a lot of different ideas. There's some noise mitigation that we've talked about from I-5 as well, so we're kind of in early stages around that. And as Sarah mentioned, we're always looking for feedback. So very early in the process, this is a great time for feedback, and people know resources in the community where folks are looking to get involved or donate things. That's obviously helpful. And I'm sure we'll have more information in the coming months. This is just a start, so thanks.
Yes, and like Beverly said, all of this was hands involved, right? And so that's the point of this as well in the process. So there will be lots of volunteer work opportunities if you like to get your hands dirty, or as Bradford said, other ways that you might want to contribute. This is very much a community effort and meant to be enjoyable. So at this, yes, Mark.
So Sarah, what will the process be for gathering input then?
He's the expert on that.
So we're still in the pre-development phase, so we're not yet in design. And so the next piece is this design is a little bit dated and it doesn't actually incorporate all of the new ADA codes that are required, so we have to go through a redesign process. And so we have to first understand how extensive that redesign is. So when we're in that design process, that's when we'll build in some kind of an input phase. We actually are still designing how to design. So we don't yet have all the plans for how to get input.
Yeah.
You're gathering that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're still building that too. And obviously the budget for the project drives how long we think it will go for if it has to be done in phases. So there's a reality that might be, we go for some of the project, we get things done that need to be done by small contractors if there's electrical work. And then we're kind of opening it for longer input and community feedback. So we're still building that out, but I know we'll be doing a robust process for that.
Yeah, so this plan as well as a few others, so the slight variations of this same concept. We're looking at that and we're looking at this space. Kind of, this is our blueprint, I mean, literally, and thinking about, well, is this possible or do we need to maybe shift? But this is kind of where we're starting from. And yeah, and one piece that I was hoping might come about is more plants. Michelle was very passionate about native plants and the idea of having more spaces with plants and dedicating those areas to the different legacies that we talked about with little plaques that talked about these individuals who were pillars of what we know today as the Arc of Whatcom County. Any other questions? Comments?
We're gonna start off with, getting this a pre-plan, just some kind of idea about where everything's going. And then, of course, right along with that is What, is there gonna be irrigation or anything? That's not far away I am. I don't know anything. So, will we have irrigation?
We're still, we have not fully
Yes.
assessed that area either.
Yeah, we're-
One-
Early.
Yeah, one of the pieces right now is to have someone come in and do a new survey. Because the survey we have is outdated with what the slopes are. So that would be the first place is what are we working with? And then also the ADA requirements, those, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're much better at this than me, but kind of knowing those, what do we have to work with? And then we can start dreaming about what we want to include in it. So yes, we're not quite to irrigation,
So that plan there is 5, 10 years old.
15 years
Things
old.
have changed.
Yes. Yes, requirements, even as you can see up here, this was designed to be more of a flat area all the way across. But when the permeable parking space up here was created, a lot of earth was moved this way, so there's actually slope involved in there that wasn't there before. This also includes this fence. It shows a fence that follows more along the property line. The current fence actually juts in this way. And so we walked out there to say, oh, that'd be great if we had more space, and we saw, oh, wow, there's quite a drop off there, so maybe not. So pieces like that, so we can figure out what do we have, what can we do, and then what's the way we have to do it for requirements, materials, longevity, and then what kind of fun stuff do we want to plug in there? Is that a good way to
That's
put it?
great, yeah,
Okay.
and we're not sure, like, a lot of design process, things like input often get performed by a landscape architect. So we're still not entirely sure if it's this team, not an architect team, that'll be doing input, or if the person who actually does the new design for the space will also help drive some of the input process. So we're still early in that process. There was an awesome architect who worked on this, we're not sure if they'll contribute to the next one, so we're still looking at that too.
Yeah, we're pulling out all the names of the people who were involved in the first round, and we're going to reach out to them, and see what their interest is, or if they have recommendations of other people. I can tell you that on this space over here, we're in need of some native plant replacement, such as the kinnikinick, which we're not sure what's going on with that, but if you are chomping at the bit to get your hands dirty, that's always an option. We can talk about putting in some plants there. Yeah, these are great questions.
I can add some things that just on the basis of the agency, that we will certainly have community meetings, put information out in our newsletter and e-alerts, and have opportunities to talk about, maybe there's a draft design that goes out with some information, but then folks have a chance to come in and talk about it, ask questions, that sort of thing. One of my, and there's two advantages that we really have right now, and one of them is that we've been in this building and using this area for a while, and we have a better idea about what our use is like, what we're looking for, and have seen a lot of growth in the community with the schools and other playgrounds about accessible playgrounds and those kind of materials. So there's a lot more knowledge and information about that. And just having used the space for a while and understanding what families need. The other piece is when we talk about accessibility and ADA, we always want to do more. There are places where the slope that they have that is considered okay for a wheelchair or for any kind of mobility doesn't feel safe still, even though it meets the law. And so I know we had a staff member who didn't like going from this back paved area into just down one little slope area into the other parking area. It felt very uncomfortable for her, and people have flipped over in their wheelchairs on different, I know one person who has just hit a couple speed bumps, and that's really uncomfortable. So it's not just meeting the law, it's meeting the idea of it is that people feel safe and know that they're safe and they have comfort in this. And that means that we're meeting access needs in a lot of different ways. That's what doing a plan together like this means. To know that I can show up with my 7-year-old who runs all around, and I know that we've got these fences, and so
I don't have to chase him every moment. He's not gonna end up on the freeway. I can sit down and talk to that other parent while they got the zoomies. So those kind of things of what does access look like for you as an individual and a family, or what we want to be able to pull out for this.
Yeah, and that extends to the features as well. I mentioned water features. It would absolutely be in the, in the mindset of safety. It wouldn't be a water feature where you can't turn your back and let someone play in and, oh, they're swimming in it now. Everything's going to be in mind of exactly that. Where would individuals feel safe? Where would they feel safe about their children and loved ones moving around, exploring? So, yeah.
So I'm really excited about this because it's always been the long-term plan. And to be able to even look at a big picture and think about phases of this, is really, really great.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to hear, what would be enjoyed. So, yeah. All right, well, thank you.
Sarah?
Yeah.
And Bradford, thank you. One other thing I forgot to add, and that is our assistant director, Rhonda Rishi. She was working at North County Community Church and helped do a great deal of the fundraising and donations and grants to help build that playground.
Yes.
And so she did community meetings in the Meridian area. Again, so we have staff support that's gonna be incredibly helpful too. And that piece of someone being able to say, oh, I tried that, this didn't work about it, let's go that way as well. I learned by my mistakes. I learned by what doesn't work, so I can try and do it better next time. And so that's also part of the expertise and energy that we want to bring to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. We've got a community of lots of experience and expertise, and it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So it's time to end the meeting, but have fun eating pizza, voting for things, and connecting. And so hand it back to adjourn.
Yeah. So then somebody wanted to make a motion to adjourn our membership meeting 2025. Ben makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, Margaret, you should know. Margaret second, is that okay?
I left it for Margaret.
Oh, that, I love that now. So, all right, all in favor? Say aye.
Bye.
Abstained? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody, for a fabulous May 2025 membership.